This is Duke University.
Emerging markets are so important to people's growth because if you look at gross domestic product, or GDP, and look at where that growth is going to come in the world in the next 15 years, 3/4 of that growth is coming in developing markets. And it's a lot easier to grow where markets are growing than to grow in stagnant markets where you're fighting for market share. There's $30 trillion of opportunity of increased consumption that is happening in developing markets. About half of that is coming from traditional BRIC countries, Brazil, Russia, India, and China. But half of that is coming from other countries such as Mexico, Turkey, Chile, and other countries like that. So there's plenty of opportunity outside of what's normally targeted, which is just the BRIC countries. If you look at 440 cities in developing countries, they'll make up almost half of the growth of increased consumption. So it's not just targeting China or India or Mexico, it's targeting those specific cities that are going to be growing, which I think is going to be key to growth in emerging markets. This is due because there's a lot of urbanization that is happening by people obviously moving to the cities, but also because of the reason they're moving there is it will be increased income levels of the households that reside in those cities. The subtitle of my talk is it's going for gold in emerging markets, finding the $30 trillion of opportunity in the decathlon. And the reason we took the decathlon is because there kind of are 10 crucial capabilities that you really need to market in emerging markets. We probably don't have time to go through all 10. The kind of key 4 that I went into in depth today is, number 1 is understanding when your categories are going to go through explosive growth in these countries. Many times they get over certain thresholds and these markets tend to take off and grow at 20, 50, 60, 70, 90% over the next couple of years. Second is to focus on those core cities where the growth is going to be. Those 400 cities, they're going to account for most of those growths. Third is to be able to act local, but to think global. And that concept's been talked about before, but what multinational companies have to do is balance the need for uniqueness due to, say, culture or religion with trying to gain scale. So lots of times they're looking for similarities across countries to try to go after that opportunity. And fourth, same here, same in developed countries and markets, but branding is very, very important, and make sure you establish trust. And in particular, to understand when a foreign brand will be trusted in some of these countries and when, quite frankly, they will prefer their own national brands.